bro, like, are you here to like destroy the earth? And he said, yeah.
That was
That
that.
was it.
What's up, YouTube? We coming back with another video. Once again, let's get it. Let's run it up, baby. All right, so today it's a little special, little emotional video. All right. So today's video is gonna be on my addiction, and I've touched bases on this before, but I've never really went into depths about it. So to this video, we're going all the way in. We're touching the fucking root of the soul, nigga. Alright. So like I said before, this happened way back last summer. During I wanna say mid-July. Mid-July. Mid-July is when this all started. Getting in contact with one of my old friends. We're gonna call him Bob, alright? So me and Bob, we were always friends. I met through his girlfriend, and his girlfriend ended up actually putting us on together and like making us friends, all that good shit. All right, so now that you guys got that little information, let's get right into Bob's section. All right, so me and Bob, we're kicking it almost every day, all July into August, and eventually, um, you know, he starts, like, doing a little more around me. He starts doing Xanax around me. He starts doing perks around me. He starts doing this around me. He starts doing coke around me. So when I understand that, my friend is somebody I can get drugs from if I ever wanted to try them. All right. So during this time, I was going through a big depression stage, and I really just wanted to get something to get my mind off of this and feel good and just feel like everything was okay. So this particular day, I go over to Bob's house and I'm cooling. I'm just like, "What's up, Bob? Let's go. Let's smoke this blunt. Let's just drink this beer. Let's have a great day." And a few hours go by and his plug comes by. And for the sake of the video, let's call him Jared. So Jared pulls up. Jared is the Zanman, Perkman, and Snowman. All right, great guy. So we so Jared comes into the basement. This is where we smoke. This is where we chill. This is where we do the drugs. Right. This is the drug room. Right. We're gonna call this the drug room. So we get to the drug room. We got Bob, Jared, and we got Bob's girlfriend. We're gonna call her Stacy. So we got Stacy sitting on the left. We got Bob sitting on the left, and then we got Jared sitting right next to me. And we're all just cool and smoking a blizzy, enjoying the day. And eventually, Bob goes, "Yo, bro, you got any more of them Xanias?" And he's like, "Yeah, man, of course I do. You already know what it is." So he throws him a few bars and a few footballs. And me, I see this. I'm thinking Xanax, depression, panic attacks, disorders, all this, drugs, fun. Let's get it. So I'm like, "Yo, how much are you charging per pill?" And he's like, "To be honest, bro, I usually do 5 a piece. I just sold it to your friend for 5, but for you, I'm gonna do 3 because you're a first time customer." So I'm just like, "Bet, this is a blessing." So I grabbed like I want to say I grabbed like 10. I grabbed like 10 bars off him, and I paid like a good $30. I ended up waiting until Jared left, so that way he knew that, like, so that way he didn't know that I was a first timer. You feel me? A first time Xan user. So I wait until Jared leaves, and it's just me, Bob, and Stacy. So I'm talking to Bob. I'm like, "How you recommend me taking these? Just swallow, snort, what? Dropping in my Sprite like I seen the rappers do?" And he's just like, "Nah, bro. Put it right here. Put it right here. Let that bitch dissolve. Let it sit there and let it just." Don't even drink water. Just let it sit there, brother. And I'm just like, "All right, fuck. This sounds pretty deadly." So I put 1 bar in. All right, for y'all who don't know, if this is your first time taking a Xanax, do not take a 2 milligram bar, especially the ones I was getting. I was getting straight Hulks. Okay, I was getting the green happy bars, the green happy ladders. Hulk smash, put you on the couch and have you wake up 2 days later. All right. So I get these bars. I put one right here, and I'm chilling. I'm just letting it. I start tasting it. Right, it tastes like powder, and it just tastes really bad. And he's telling me that he loves the taste. And I'm just like, "Bro, you must be a drug addict if you love the taste of Xanax." And he's just like, "Nah, bro, it's cool." So I'm just like, "Say no more." I wait for this to dissolve, and once it all dissolves in my mouth, he's like, "All right, here, now get a drink of water, switch it around, let it dissolve into your gums, and then swallow." So I do what he says. I follow his instructions, and you know, a few hours go by, and you know, I'm starting feeling the effects of this bar. You know, I'm starting feeling a little loopy, a little wavy. I'm sitting back, and you know, everything's just okay. That's the best way to explain the Xanax. All right, my Xanax phase. I only took these to feel okay and to feel calm and to like to let loose and you know to let all my problems run away. That's the best way to explain it. All my problems just ran away. I felt comfy and I felt like it was a nice rainy day. So time goes on, and you know, we're gonna fast forward into 2 weeks later. Right, 2 weeks later, you know, I'm still doing Xans, you know, but this time it took a leap. All right, I ended up getting kicked out of my house. You know, I have the Xanax addiction, right, and now I have to afford a hotel for the next 3 months. For all this to work out, I have to start making some money fast. So first thing I do, boom, how you know I start watching videos how to keep up with your addiction, all this bullshit. You know, I'm watching all my drug tubers, Goblin, etc. Hotel, you know, I had this Xanax addiction, and you know I'm blowing through money fast. You know, I'm probably spending $30 on Xans every 2 days. All right, so that means I'm taking 5 bars a day every 2 days, and then I re-up. But for the sake of the video, let's just say it was like $60 every 2 days. So, you know, I'm dealing with this addiction that, you know, money for Xans, you know, you really realize how fast you go through the Xans, and you realize how fast it burns through your money. All right, and let's add on top of a hotel. All right, for this hotel, I'm paying $80, 85, $90 a fucking day. All right, so let's do the math real quick. That's a hell of a lot of bread. All right, I ended up blowing through like 3 or 4 grand in cash on a fucking hotel just staying there. I probably ended up blowing another $1,000 on Xans, and then let's fast forward to my opioid addiction. When this took place, I was kicked out of my house. I'm living at this hotel. I had this Xanax addiction, and then eventually I meet this dude. Let's call him Gary. All right, so I met Gary. Gary is a really good dude. All right, he was a down-to-earth dude, always checked up on me, always made sure I was good. But he was a fucked up dude for giving me these perks. You know, anybody who's giving you hard drugs are not your friend. They're just trying to use you, be nice to you, so you keep coming back. The more comfortable you feel around them, the more comfortable you are buying the drugs off them. The more comfortable you are having conversations with them about drugs, all right? They know this. Weed, you don't have to be completely nice. Everybody smokes weed. But if you're dealing harder drugs, not everyone's going to come out the closet and be like, yo, bro, you got the cocaine, put it up my nose. All right, no, that's not how it works. You usually have to get comfortable around the person before they start being a crackhead around you. All right, so I get comfortable around Gary, and, you know, I see Gary, you know, selling perks. I see him doing perks, and I see how, you know, I see how relaxed he is off these perks, and I see the effects that it has on him, and I'm just like, damn, that looks fucking lit. It looks better than a Xan. Let me grab a perk 30. And, you know, this was the only guy that I've found actual script perk 30s, because in my area, in Philly area, you're gonna get nothing but fentanyl laced perks, because you know, everybody wants the most money, and it's a fucked up thing. The only way you're gonna get, you know, he was telling me the only way he's gonna get scripts is if he goes to this old dude who had back problems, and that's why he was prescribed Percocets, alright? We got into like a car accident, something like that, alright? He had the perks, he had the scripts, alright? If he had the scripts, I was copping. And, you know, he tells me, like, yo, bro, these are the scripts, you know, they're nice, they're not as strong as the ones I have on the side, but here you go, you know, I'm gonna serve you the scripts because you're a good dude. Me and Gary ended up kicking off this relationship, and, you know, we graduated from, you know, just popping these perks to smoking these perks, and this is when my addiction escalated higher, right? To the point where, you know, I couldn't do any. I couldn't go to the bathroom without smoking a perk, or, you know, seeing a perk, or, you know, just ingesting a perk some type of way. So, when my addiction escalates, you know, my money declines, and I start robbing people. During this phase in my life, I really regret it, but, you know, shit had to be done because I needed my fix. And, I'm not saying this to be, like, yo, if you're low on money, all you gotta do is go rob that old lady walking down the street. No, that's not how it works. I was robbing people that weren't in my area, so that way people wouldn't know. And, like, I wouldn't have, like, this dickhead or scammer mentality from everyone pointing towards me, alright? So I would just rob people in different counties and pick and choose who I wanted to rob. If you had a good enough weight, I'm probably coming for your 30 cards. I'm probably coming for, a quarter pound of your weed. I'm running off with your package. There's nothing you're going to do about it. And I'm a drug addict. So as the time goes on, my family begins to notice, not my parents or anything, but my cousin, my sister, and her boyfriend. These three individuals began to notice that, I'm really going downhill fast, and if I don't change something that, I'm probably going to lose myself or eventually die. And they didn't know what drugs I was taking, but they just knew I was on some type of drug, all right? And I get into this car accident. And when I get into this car accident, I'm with my friend, you already know, Boogaloo. Who the fuck? Boogaloo. I'm with my mans. We get into this car accident and we almost die together. But we didn't because, God was in the car with us. And he did not want me to go yet. He said, nah, nigga, you still got some life to live. And I was like, fuck, I'm not dead. So, I'm only 16 at the time, not 17. I was turning 17 in a couple of days. But when you get into a car accident as a minor and your parents are not around, you have to get checked out by the ambulance, and your parents have to come to the scene immediately, or they will not release you. They'll take you to the hospital. So I called my parents. I don't know how, but somehow, during this time I did not have contact with my parents for a good 2 to 3 months. But somehow I think I got in contact with my cousin, and I had him send me my mom's number or something, and I called her, and my dad ended up coming to like pick me up. And the only reason why I did this was because, I felt like if they were to drug test me, and if they were to drug test both of us or something, they would see that, I have benzos and I have opiates in my system. So with that being said, they could immediately send me to rehab or tell my parents. So my first initial thought was call my parents, let's get them down here so that way I don't get tested, I don't get none of that shit happen to me. I can tell them okay and I can go on my way. So once that's over and done with, we're gonna fast forward. I ended up moving back into my house, but I'm still addicted to perks and I'm still addicted to Xans. But let's say 4 months later go by and my addiction is really bad. I'm going through 4 perks a day and probably around 6-7 bars a day. And, I'm just off to drugs every single day. It's not a good look. And eventually, I ended up losing my perk plug, and this is what really fucked up my addiction and made it 10 times worse, alright? See, if you don't know what you're getting, if your plug is not showing you a script with a name on it and the bottle, 10 out of 10 times, it's pressed with fentanyl. Fentanyl is a crazy fucking drug, alright? So let's fast forward, and... So let's fast forward till when I dropped out. I want to say I dropped out around March or April, maybe February. In between those 3 months, I dropped out. I lost my perk plug, and only thing I really had that I know is scripts or Xans. All right, so I'm taking Xans heavy. I'm trying to stay away from perks because I know that 10 out of 10 of these perks that I might get are going to be pressed with fentanyl. But and I'm just like, fuck it, bro. I just need a fucking perk right now. I'm sick as fuck. I'm throwing up. I'm shitting myself. I'm just not looking good. My parents are asking me what's wrong. I can't tell them that I'm withdrawn from these perks because, they're going to throw me in rehab. They're going to kick me out again. Anything can happen. So I ended up just going through and searching for, another perk plug, and I ended up finding one. So we're going to call him Dave. So I meet Dave through Bob once again. And Bob is, he's not a straight up dude, but he has the perkies. He has what I'm looking for. And he comes through. I hit him up. He comes through. About 30 minutes later, serves me like 4 or 5 perks. And I go about my day. You're getting pressed perks, all right? If they're if they're $25 or less, they're pressed with fentanyl or they're pressed with heroin. If you're paying 30 or the $50 for a perk, kudos to you. There is a high chance that those perks may be pressed, but there's also a high chance that those perks are not pressed because you're paying rapper price. You're paying fucking, high end drug price. You're paying what you would pay, alright? I start getting these perks. I start realizing that, these are cut. These are really cut because, these are really stronger than, any perks I've been having. I literally couldn't do a corner, which would equal to, I cut them in, I'd break them up into 4 pieces. 4 or 3 pieces, and it'd be 10. It'd be around 10 milligrams each. Perk 10. Cut them in half. I'm doing a corner. I'm doing this 10 this little 10 milligrams. There's no way to really dose it, but I'm trying to figure it out. So I use a corner and I smoke it. I start realizing that the way that it's burning doesn't look like how it was burning before and how it was burning all those months I've been doing it. It has this, like, it just looks very chemically, and it does not look like you should be smoking it, especially off tinfoil, because that's how I use it to do my perks, and I'm not ashamed of it because that's way in the past. I'm parched. So, I'm realizing that, these are probably pressed with fentanyl and heroin. But I'm so deep in my addiction that I do not care. And, I honestly do not care. And if I died, I literally don't know how I didn't die, considering I was consuming so much perks in my addiction. And it was just crazy. This part of my life was probably the craziest thing that ever happened to me. So, I'm getting these fentanyl perks, and, I'm not proud of it. Don't ever do Percocets because, especially, you don't know what's in them. You don't know what's in any drug, right? For all I know, the Zans I was getting could have been pressed with fucking fentanyl or fucking heroin or, some type of fucking baking soda. We don't know. So I'm taking these perks, and I'm starting to realize doing to my body. I'm losing mad weight. I just look doped up all the time, and most of the time, I just can barely get out of bed. I can barely walk down the street to go meet someone. I'm just not in good shape, and I eventually ended up getting clean off them for 2 months and relapsing again. And when I relapsed back on scripts, and the process just redid itself. I was getting scripts, and then went to fentanyl. And, I'm not completely proud of this, but at the same time, I'm not knowing what's in my perks, and, but I'm still doing it. But at the end of the day, I have to own up to my mistakes, and, I'm sharing the story with you guys to show you guys that, addiction is a scary thing, especially when you don't know what you're getting, or you don't know what's in it, alright? Is, cut off the people that you're surrounded by. I had to cut off around, I wanted to say like 10 people just for me to focus on myself and not other people and not worry about drugs. Because me being around those people every day, seeing them do Xan, seeing them do perks, seeing them serve drugs makes me want to do drugs. So that's why I had to cut them off. And one of my closest friends, a lot of you guys who are in my area may know him. You guys know that when we're together, we are fucking drug addicts. We like to get high. We want to get high. We want to get high. We want to get so high that we can't function, which is not okay. It's all about who you surround yourself around and the energy that is, being pushed off onto you. So if you're hanging around a bunch of people who are doing drugs, eventually you're going to get sucked into that mess and you're going to want to do drugs. So if you're trying to get over it, why hang around those same people who don't give a fuck about you, want to do drugs, and want to have fun? They're not thinking long term. They're thinking now, and they're thinking about the high. They're not thinking about, they're not really thinking about your, you're not thinking about your addiction at all. The only person who's thinking about your addiction is you. The only person who's dealing with that addiction is you. Yeah, there's other people who go through the same addiction, but not everyone can control the addiction, and not everyone has the time to take a step back and realize that the path they're going down is a big distraction. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hit that like button, subscribe, and comment below if you guys fucked with it. I hope you guys enjoyed.